And many times of when I was building a business, not knowing if I'm going to get a client, not knowing if it's going to bring in income, and not knowing if I'm going to be able to provide for my family. But knowing that from the simple plan and the simple step of faith that I take, that those things are going to work out. What if I told you that the difference between where you are and where you want to go is a simple desire? And then what if I told you that you've been playing on repeat through fear and doubt your entire life, and that the only step to bridge that gap is faith? I remember back when I was, goodness gracious, a ninth grader, and we were going to scout camp. Me and the boys going to scout camp, and it was at Flaming Gorge in Utah. I remember, if anyone who's been to Flaming Gorge, the rocks there are beautiful, and you're able to boat through these canyons. And oh my goodness, there are so many places in which you can jump off of a rock. I remember me and my friends would go up to this rock. It had to be, I don't know, 30, 40 feet in the air. But as we got up there, I'm not a person who thinks he's afraid of heights, but I'll tell you what, when I got up to that rock and I looked over the edge, that 40 feet plus my 6'3"ness, it seemed like an impossible jump. And my friends were on the side. They were pumping each other out. They were getting so excited. They're like, we got this, we got this. And I'm standing there thinking, I don't have this. And I feel so uncomfortable. And so one of my friends just ran off and landed in the water. And of course, we at the bottom, we had the boat and all the leaders were in the boat. But one by one, as my friends went, I stood up there scared. And I thought to myself, can I actually do this? Is this something that I could take the courage forward to make? And luckily, I had a friend next to me who we both were scared out of our pants, to which we're up there and everyone was cheering us on. And even some of the friends who already jumped off came right back up and did it again. And for 20, 30 minutes, me and my friend were up there wondering, can we make this leap? And it wasn't until I had this thought come into my mind to where I said, yeah, we can. Throughout my entire life, as I grew up with dyslexia, I realized that life is going to be hard for me for the rest of my life. Rest of my life, I'm going to be having this disorder that's going to be impacting me. And when people talk behind my back, whenever I have to read or write, I'm never going to be able to. And whenever I go to classes or meet with my friends, I know that they are smarter than I am, simply because I was born with this dumb thing called dyslexia. And I saw it as a challenge over and over and over in my life, until this one thought came into my mind, which I said, yeah, I think I actually can do this. And so as I sat there as a dyslexic and as I was up there in the canyon at Flaming Gorge, this thought came into my mind. And here it is. Willie, do the scary thing first, and then you can be scared. I don't know if you've ever had an impactful question like that, or impactful statement nonetheless. But when you have those moments, everything around you seems to freeze. You can hear your own breath. You can hear the little crickets or birds chirping. And that day, as I'm standing on top of that canyon, and at that time when I was sitting down, wondering how the heck I'm going to have hope in this world with this disorder that I was born with, I thought to myself, do the scary thing first, and then you can be scared. So, with a leap of faith, I took that jump. I ran off, jumped, scared out of my life. And as gravity took over and plunged me to the water, I hit, went under, life jacket buoyed me up, and everything was fine. Sitting in that chair as a dyslexic, I said, I can make a difference. So I went out and became a speaker, an author, and a coach for dyslexics. And it was all from that thing of doing the scary thing first, and then you can be scared. This wonderful principle of faith that we learn about in Napoleon's Think and Grow Rich dives into just taking the step forward without knowing what's going to happen, and not doing it in a Here's my dyslexia again. Not doing it in a um naive way. There's a word that starts with an I, not in a naive way to where you're not doing any research and you just jump in blindly with being like this. No, doing the research, uh, praying about it, having that meditation of everything that's going on, setting up a plan, taking that step forward into the unknown. And I know that as I've gone out and became an award-winning speaker and participate in many speaking competitions, as well as gone out and became an author and had to sit down many a night, spending way too much time writing a chapter because it was just slow because of my dyslexia. And many times of when I was building a business, not knowing if I'm going to get a client, not knowing if it's going to bring in income, and not knowing if I'm going to be able to provide for my family. But knowing that from the simple plan and the simple step of faith that I take, that those things are going to work out. So I wanted to ask you, as a champion of your life, which you are a champion of your life, because you're the only one that can control your life. Of course, things are going to go around you, but you are the author. You are the one who is able to write your story. You're the one that's been given the God-given gift for your life to make the choices that you need to create the life that you want. So my question to you is this: what is it in your life in which that if you took a step of faith, if you took a step forward, big or small, that everything else that you've been worrying about will either be negated or matter very little? Whatever that one step is, I want you to consider that you have just been living on repeat of fear and doubt your entire life. And probably not even your entire life, but just for this moment that you've been living on repeat over and over and over again. And just like in a merry-go-round, where you can keep going over and over and over again, but how do you stop it? You pull that brake, you press the button for it to slow down. You need to press that button in your life, which it's taking that step into fear. As I wrap this up, if you know anything about fear, it paralyzes many of us. But it was something that I've learned that you might not know is that courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is having fear, but still taking the steps forward. So just like Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich, when he talks about faith, and just like in my story with in Flaming Gorge and sitting in the chair as a dyslexic, I want you to start taking those steps of faith. Start taking those steps into courage. Because I can tell you this: the moment that you do is the moment that you will feel courageous. The moment that you do is the first step that leads you into the thing that you want. Whatever that goal, vision, finish line, northern star, whatever that thing is that you're aiming for, it happens by a simple step. So I challenge you to find that one single thing that you need to take that step forward, big or small. Because when you do, you can start becoming the champion of your life. Become that champion, ignite that passion within you, ignite that fire that's going to push you forward, and take that first step.